The Atlanta Hawks are looking to make a huge splash this NBA offseason after falling short of their expectations of the 2022 NBA offseason. With this reported Rudy Gobert trade in the works, could the Atlanta Hawks be giving up way too many assets to acquire a player that might just make them marginally better? For today's video, we are going to discuss this trade, the Hawks' future, and what exactly they can do to ensure Trae Young can get an NBA championship. Okay, guys, first I gotta say, I hate this trade so much. Like this trade right here, if you are an Atlanta Hawks fan, I am giving you the opportunity to hop on any other bandwagon for any team you want to, man. I hate this trade that much. So, before we get going into it, the source of this trade leak, or I guess speculation, you know, man, I gotta say real quick here, everything is speculation until you know, and also at the same time, too, is like you only have the information that's in front of you. You know, opinions and minds and trades and all that stuff can change on a day-to-day basis, so this is basically what we know right now, man. The source is by Bleacher Report. I've worked with Bleacher Report in the past. I know for a fact that they do get things, you know, like given to them ahead of time. I think the prime example I have is 2 years ago, you know, like they knew the NBA All-Star starters. And I think this year, you know, based off of how the NBA is feeling and how ratings are going and stuff like that, that information was not like released to them early. So I do know in certain circumstances, information is released, right? And this one right here is involving Rudy Gobert and the Atlanta Hawks. But I didn't even tell y'all the rest of the trade here yet, man. It literally made my blood boil. Before we get going on this, if I can ask you guys to please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. The stock market and economy is not doing great, and I fear that if I feed my girlfriend ramen noodles one more time, I'm gonna be a single man. So yes, for the future heir of Crispy Flakes, please leave a like and subscribe if you're the channel. Okay, enough of that. Okay. The trade. This is the trade here, man. Report. The Atlanta Hawks could trade a combination of Clint Capela, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, and the number 16th overall pick in the draft for Rudy Gobert. That's it. It's Rudy Gobert, man. Source, Bleacher Report. Nobody else included. Not realizing what's already on the Atlanta Hawks roster. Just pulling off just this half-ass trade to try to reconcile the failed season of the Atlanta Hawks. Like straight up, man, like, you know, like 2 years ago, like Trae Young looked like that dude. Like Trae Young's still that dude and everything like that. Roster needs some changes to it, but I think this is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so let's look at it from the Hawks' point of view to start things off. First off, before we talk about what they're getting in Rudy Gobert, let's talk about what they already have, what they need, and what they're losing, okay? So, you know, you're losing John Collins. Fully aware that John Collins and Trae Young, it's just not it. You know, they've tried it. I mean, I will even say, like, John Collins even took a little bit of, like, a pay cut and everything like that. But when it comes down to it, like, John Collins, Trae Young, that's not it. I'm cool moving on from that. Like, he's still a really solid player. Like, that's not somebody you just give away for nothing whatsoever. Like, him by himself, I think, warrants pretty good trade value. What is he, roughly around, like, an 18-10 type of guy, can shoot the three ball, got good athleticism. Like, John Collins is a good basketball player. He's not a good fit next to Trae Young and what this Hawks team needs. You also are giving up Clint Capela. I think Clint Capela, for the type of center that he is right around what you want to pay that type of center. What do I mean by that? Like, Clint Capela is your traditional play on the inside, you know, gonna grab some rebounds, block some shots, you know, catch some hoops, things like that, type of center, man. And, you know, those guys are not really as sought out anymore as they once were, just because the center position has become this position of just, you know, you either can do it all or you're a specialty type of player. Like, Joel Embiid, Jokic can do it all. Or you have like Miles Turner, who's like specialty shooting threes and blocking shots. That's typically what it is. And then obviously you still got the guys that can rebound and stuff like that too, right? But yeah, so Clint Capela, good contract, great player. I would even say a poor man's Rudy Gobert, which is not an insult based off of the contract difference between those two guys. You're also giving up Kevin Huerter. Once again, I will say like Kevin Huerter with Trae Young, I don't think is like the greatest backcourt idea. Just because it's clear that the issue with the Atlanta Hawks is perimeter defense, which once again bringing in Rudy Gobert makes no sense as far as addressing that. I mean, Rudy Gobert is going to help your team defensively no matter what. He's one of the greatest defensive players of this generation. Like, let's call it like it is. But I mean, like, Clint Capela is fine. Like, Clint Capela is fine for perimeter defense. I know he doesn't always stay healthy and stuff like that, but still, like, the issue is within the perimeter defense and, Trae Young and Kevin Huerter not being able to hold it down. And what exactly can you do to fix that in the short term of things? I don't know, maybe you hit up a team like the Memphis Grizzlies and you offer up a trade of Clint Capela, Kevin Huerter in exchange for Steven Adams and DeAnthony Melton. With Steven Adams, you get a guy in an expiring contract for a season, that's fine, but you also get DeAnthony Melton, who I think is a very underrated defensive guard in the NBA. He gets a larger role on the team, and, obviously the Grizzlies, they get a Steven Adams younger version of him as well. I would say Clint Capela is better than Steven Adams, essentially, but depends on what you want from your center when it comes down to it. But you get him, you also get Kevin Huerter, some more shooting on the team, stuff like that, man. I don't really know, that seems fine and not giving up all these other pieces. Plus, you still have those assets you can trade away for other things out there, right? But also what really angers me about bringing Rudy Gobert to the Atlanta Hawks is there is a, number 6 pick in the draft, something like number 7 a few seasons ago. Okongwu, I think, has all the tools to be the perfect center in today's NBA, man. Now, I ain't gonna lie and say that I've watched all the film on Okongwu, but, the bits and pieces that I've seen of him here and there, and just, obviously he's been injured a lot too, and knowing his play style, and just, the type of, body he has and stuff like that, man. I make the comparison of Bam Adebayo. It's a pretty surface-level comparison, but, something like that. A mobile type of center, maybe even a Robert Williams type, that it's not going to clog up things too much. He's got that mobility factor to him, which guys like Rudy Gobert and Clint Capela don't have. But he's just sitting there, man. And I just think he needs that starting opportunity. It's the same issue going on with the Knicks and Obi Toppin, where, Obi Toppin is a bench player, still pretty solid, but let's call it like it is, and Julius Randle's holding him back. And that's kind of been the same case with Okongwu, where it's Clint Capela is kind of held him back on top of the injuries, but Rudy Gobert is not exactly going to free up the minutes for Okongwu, because I don't see those guys even be able to exist in the backcourt together whatsoever, unless Okongwu, can really work on that jump shot or something like that, man. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever bringing Rudy to this team. He's very expensive. He's 30 years of age. The type of center he is, being a 7-footer and stuff like that, those guys tend to regress very, very quickly. Look at DeAndre Jordan. There's just, it's really just making this big-ass trade for just for the sake of doing something, man. And I feel like all these assets to get that one guy now, okay, maybe if they toss on a Royce O'Neal, no, it's still not good, man. It's still not a good trade whatsoever, and I hate it. But that's one side of things. Let's look at the Utah Jazz. What are they getting out of it, man? Well, they are getting rid of Rudy Gobert, which it's, according to just what we've seen, doesn't have the best relationship with Donovan Mitchell. That right there is addition by subtraction. But you're also getting John Collins and Clint Capela on this team. And I think pairing that, with Donovan Mitchell is pretty cool. That's pretty solid, man. Kevin Huerter's would be great off the bench for them. Obviously wouldn't be starting with Donovan Mitchell or anything like that. I still think this Jazz team, it's not enough to get him over the hump or nothing like that. I still think they would need to do some other additional moves to really make Donovan Mitchell happy and everything. But I think, plus he also got that draft pick. What was it, number 16? You might be able, I got a little bit of a mock draft pulled up here, man. Let me pull it up real quick here. And yeah, as far as the mock draft goes, around that 16th pick, you're looking at guys like Malachi Branham, who can be I think I was reading a Chris Middleton type of player. You got Mark Williams, who's supposed to be that DeAndre Jordan type of center for this draft class. You got Okai Agbaji. Supposed to be Malik Beasley, I guess. All right, I don't know about that. Terry Eason, who is getting comparisons to guys like OG, right, man? So, I mean, that draft pick, you don't get a solid ball player right there, plain simple. And I think already having a Okongwu, and I think having that draft pick, which, people, I posted about the trade on Twitter at ChrisFlakes2K, and people were like, oh, that draft pick's going to be useless. I was like, what's going to be useless about it? It's a 16th pick in a draft where it's a pretty damn deep draft class, if you ask me. A lot of question marks. We don't know who's going to be that guy, but when you have a shot on goal in that case, you take it, right? Who's to say that player from that Hawks pick doesn't end up being the best available player in this draft? We don't know that, man. Yes, it's a very hot take. I realize that, but I don't know, man. For the Jazz, I love it. I love that they get a poor man's least, or, not as expensive version of Rudy Gobert. I love that they get a dynamic scorer in John Collins next to Donovan Mitchell. I love the draft pick. Does not make any sense for the Hawks, man. It feels like just one of those moves that you can just see Like what's your goal here with this? Is the goal to win the finals? Because Rudy Gobert is not doing that for you. I'm not hating. I'm just going off, you know, just the past and things like that, man. But that's all we got for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Give me your thoughts about this trade in the comment section below. Be sure to drop that like and subscribe, man. I don't want to be in these damn ramen noodles anymore, baby. I'm done with the noodles, okay? I want some crispy flakes in my life. That's all we got, guys. Peace out.